So years ago, I had an ex that brilliantly summed me up as a walking dichotomy, meaning I could be considerate and generous one moment and then dismissive and selfish another. I'd spend $800 on a pair of shoes and not even bat an eye, but spend more than $10 on a bottle of wine? Never. Well, that's kind of how I feel about this real estate market. For months, sales have been in the gutter, yet prices have been going up. Our inventory has been so low that even with slumping sales, we only have about a 7 to 8 week supply of inventory. While that technically defines our market as a seller's market, talk to any seller right now and they'll say it feels more like a buyer's market to them. So today, I'm going to break down all of the analytics and attempt to provide some semblance of sanity out of this absolute mess of a market that we're in. So go ahead and pour your $6.99 bottle of wine with me, and let's get drunk on some numbers. Okay, now before we get into last month's sales, I'll be the first person to admit that numbers alone mean diddly squat without context. So to understand where we're at, we have to look back at last year real quick. Last year, the market went to crap in May, but remember, what happens today doesn't actually reflect for another month or two in terms of sales, since most escrows are 30 to 45 days. Now, sales were down in June, but it wasn't until July when we saw sales plummet. Now, the median price took its first dip in June, but plummeted in July, down $15,000. So what does that mean to us, and why am I wasting your time with this flashback? It's important to note because until this month, we've been comparing both sales and median price to a completely different market. The first half of last year and the second half of last year are completely unrecognizable, as you're about to see. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out last month's sales first. We managed to sell a paltry 1,765 homes last month. Even with last year's dismal sales of only 1,902, this puts us down 7% year over year. But to truly feel the impact, let's go back to 2021. We sold 3,203 homes that July. So if we compare last month's sales to 2021, that actually puts us down 45%. Now, no matter how you spin it, sales are crap right now. There's simply no other way of putting it. All right, next we have the median price. Now, remember my dichotomy analogy in the beginning? Well, if sales are my $10 bottle of wine, then the median price are my $800 pair of shoes. You'd think with plummeting sales that the median price would surely take a hit as well. Nope. On the screen now, you can see that the median price managed to rise yet again to $450,000. Now, aside from the fact that we increased $6,000 for no damn reason, the nutty part is this. Because prices started falling so dramatically last year, even if the median price holds tight from here on, starting next month, we'll be positive year over year. Last August, the median price sank to $449,000. If you look on the screen again, you'll see that we bottomed out in December at only $420,000. So as bizarre as this year has been, we could quite easily find ourselves up 10% by the end of this year. I know. Now let's check out the most important metric, current inventory levels. As you can see now, we ended the month pretty flat, but technically down for the 9th straight month. Even though our inventory is shrinking, we only dipped by 23 homes last month and 28 in June. Now, suffice to say, while low, our inventory has certainly plateaued. Okay, last but not least, we have housing absorption by price range. This tells us how different price ranges are performing. The higher the percentage number, the more competitive that price range is performing. This is also where things start to really get interesting. Now, first up is the bulk of our entire market, homes priced between $250,000 to $500,000. Surprisingly, this increased from 51% to 52%. Translation, over half the homes that you see on the market in this price range are already under contract. Next, we have homes priced between 500 to 750. This decreased from 37% to only 35%. Next, we have 750 to 1 million. This took a huge dip from 31% down to only 26%. Now let's start talking luxury, 1 million to 1.5. This managed to increase from 24% up to 25%. And finally, we have the ultra luxury market of homes priced over $1.5 million. This slightly decreased from 20% down to 19%. Now, when you look at the market as a whole, we're now sitting at 41%. Now, compared to last year, though, we're killing it. Last year, this same time, we were only at 22%. Put simply, our market is twice as competitive right now as it was the same time last year. But here's the rub. Despite the percentages looking similar to last month, we currently have over 350 less homes in contract than we did this same time last month. So if you're picking up what I'm laying down, that likely means that this month's sales are going to be down about 350 more units, which means we might only sell around 1,400 homes this month. That's substantially worse than any normal December or January. In other words, trouble might just be on the horizon. So sales are crap. The median price defies logic and continues to increase. Inventory is stable, but foreshadowing the future is looking dim. So what in the hell is actually going on? Okay, putting aside all the numbers, the truth is this. Going into July, the market went ice cold. Every agent I've spoken with said the same thing. You can blame it on the heat, blame it on interest rates. Either way, the market really hit a wall. And let's be honest for a moment. The only reason our market recovered this spring and didn't completely crash and burn is because of our low inventory. In any normal simulation, when sales drop 50%, inventory rises and that competition among sellers results in lower prices for buyers. But with inventory so minimal, this managed to prop prices up. Sellers have been refusing to lower their prices, and in some cases, sellers are asking as much, if not more than they were during the peak. For instance, last month, I represented a buyer for a property here in Summerlin. Now, this home couldn't sell last year for $1.15 million. Now, eventually the sellers potentially overcompensated and listed it for only $980,000. As a result, these sellers swooped it up immediately and paid cash. Now, this was in January. We're talking 7 months ago, January. Now, the same home with no additional upgrades done to it is asking $1.2 million, literally a $220,000 premium in 7 months. Well, my client generously offered $1.1 million. Still, a $120,000 premium. Rather than simply counter with what they wanted, the seller and their agent simply ignored the offer and told us, we're not really impressed. I was told they had tons of activity and they wanted basically list price for the house. Now, surprisingly, my client told me, just go ahead and offer 1.17. This put us only $30,000 off their list price. Clean deal, short closing, easy money, and a great ROI for that seller in only 6-7 months. Now, guess what? The agent arrogantly ignored the offer, expecting some sort of bidding war to ensue. Finally, my client pulled the offer off the table and told him to go kick rocks. Now, guess what? It's been a month and the house is still sitting. Meanwhile, the entire market is going cold, and I'm starting to see homes asking below comps since they can't sell all of a sudden. Even great listings in great areas aren't getting showings right now. So the question is, was July an aberration or the beginning of a downward trend for the housing market? It's a bit early to start freaking out, but my feeling is that the bulk of the market is in for some adjusting early this year. So if you're looking to sell your home, I don't think now is the time to aim for the sky. If we're cooling off in the middle of summer, it's going to be a really cold winter. Now, if you're looking to purchase, I know the median price has been going up, but honestly, time is on your side. If the market continues, this fall and winter could be a great time to pick up some deals before we see a potential run up this spring. So be a bit patient, wait for the right deal with the right motivated seller, and you may be surprised what you can pull off. Well, that's it for this month, everyone. Please stay tuned for an upcoming video on the status of short-term rentals here in Las Vegas, because there's been some massive changes that are drastically affecting investors with Airbnb. And honestly, it could be a cautionary tale across the entire country. So please be sure to share this video with your friends and family, click to like, and please be sure to subscribe, as it really helps my channel. Have a great rest of your summer, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Deuces.